Have you ever had the impression that you finally found your calling in life, only to have it ripped away from you? Yes, that is who I am at the moment. It's not just a rug, though. My entire family is burning my life down and then claiming that I'm the insane one for being angry about it. Let me take a step back. My name is Sarah. I'm 34 years old, married, and the mother of two wonderful children, Liam, age 8, and Ava, age 5. Although it's not flawless, life is generally wonderful. We have a good life together, and my spouse, Matt, is reliable. I believed that my relationships with my parents and siblings were good. They weren't flawless, but they worked, or so I believed. I first noticed my parents acting a little strange a few months ago. Do you know how to spot someone who is hiding something? When they believed I was not there, they were reticent, avoiding eye contact, and whispering to one another. At first, I dismissed it. Perhaps they were preparing a surprise or something. Give away that they weren't. My sister Emily, who is 32 years old and nonetheless still the golden child despite having done nothing to deserve it, called me one evening. Her voice was a little too bright as she giggled. "I'm so excited, Sarah! Oh my gosh!" She let out a squeal. For what purpose? The journey. What trip? Awkward quiet. Emily answered slowly. You know, as if I were the fool in this situation. The cruise with the family? My stomach dropped. What kind of cruise? Next month's one! Mom and Dad made reservations for Jacob, the kids, them, and me. Everyone? I spoke it again, constricted in my throat. One more pause. Then Emily gave a tense laugh. Oh, I see. Did they not inform you? No. They most definitely didn't. In a trance, I hung up the phone and contacted my mother right away. As if nothing were wrong, she responded. Hello, honey. What prevented you from telling me about the cruise? I skipped the small conversation and asked. One more pause. Then she let out a sigh. We didn't believe you'd be interested, Sarah. What? What makes you believe that? With a tone full of contempt, she remarked. Well, you're always so busy with the kids. And coordinating with Emily's schedule is simply easier. Emily's timetable. Correct. Because in some ways, Emily's remote Etsy store is more significant than my full-time job and parenting two children. I trembled as I responded. But you invited her kids, Mom said. Well, of course, as if it were the most apparent thing in the world. They belong to the family. My children are also members of the family. One more sigh. We didn't believe they would like it, Sarah. For young children, cruises can be overwhelming. I was taken aback. It seemed as if someone had hit me. So, my kids are too young, which is why you didn't invite us? In that sweet voice that makes you want to scream, she continued. Sweetheart, it's not personal. It feels very personal, I yelled. My dad was on the line at that point. Calm down, Sarah, he murmured. Relax. Quiet down. Now I'm expected to calm down after my entire family went on a lavish trip without telling me at all. I said, It's unbelievable that you would harm me in this way. I am also your daughter. You are, of course, Dad responded. However, Emily simply needs this trip more. You are aware of how difficult things have been for her recently. Yes, exactly. What hard things were they talking about? Emily and her 6-month boyfriend had a difficult split. 6 months. Emily is the one who needs a vacation, but I've been working full-time and raising two children without any assistance from them. Before I uttered something I would later regret, I hung up. Then, as I sat there with my heart racing, I came to the terrible realization that they had not forgotten about me. They deliberately chose not to include me. What's the worst? It doesn't even surprise me. It's not the first time I've been treated like an afterthought, while Emily has been praised. They're being so overt about it for the first time. But what do you know? I'm finished. I'm tired of being the backup plan, the neglected daughter. They can treat Emily like the most important person in the world if they so choose. However, I am going to demonstrate to them what occurs when you push someone too far. For I will not allow them to get away with this. Not now. I hung up the phone and then simply sat there, my hands shaking and my pulse racing, trying to figure out what in the world had occurred. Without me, my entire family was taking a cruise. Not with my hubby. without my children. Furthermore, they lacked the civility to inform me. I felt like screaming, or weep, or perhaps both. Rather, I gave Matt a call. It took him 2 rings before he picked up. Hey, sweetie, what is going on? My parents are taking a cruise, I said in a cold voice. All right, with Emily. Silence for a beat. Wait, without us? Yeah. What the devil? The tears began at that point. Despite my best efforts to remain composed, the shame suddenly struck. Matt, they didn't even tell me. Emily unintentionally let it slip. They didn't think I'd be interested, according to Mom, because working with Emily's timetable was easier. I heard Matt take a deep breath. Incredible. Oh, and it seems that our children aren't family enough to be invited. For a little moment, Matt was silent, and then I heard the deep, menacing voice he uses when he is truly angry. Are you serious, Sarah? I hope. Did you let them know that's a mess? Yes, indeed. They essentially dismissed it. Emily experienced a difficult breakup, therefore she needs this more. Matt gave a snort. A relationship lasting 6 months? That's almost a marriage, wow. You know what I mean? I rubbed my eyes as a headache started to develop behind them. I'm working full-time and raising 2 kids over here. But Emily definitely deserves a vacation. Jesus, I remarked sourly. I'm surprised, but I don't even know why. Well, I'm just there. They've always treated Emily like the second coming of Christ. Matt was silent for a while. How are you going to proceed? The problem is that I was unaware of it. I wanted to chop them off entirely, part of myself, simply leave them alone so they can enjoy their ideal small family getaway. However, there was another part of me that was angry and wanted to show them how much they had wounded me. However, after spending your entire life demonstrating that they don't, how do you make them care? Matt let out a sigh. Listen, I won't give you instructions. You don't deserve this, though. The children don't either. I understand. My throat constricted. However, what if they don't even care? Matt stated decisively. Then that's their loss. But at least you'll be aware of your position. I tried to shake it off after we hung up. Put your attention elsewhere. However, the resentment adhered to me like tar. I received a text from Emily a few days later. Emily, hello. I just wanted to say hello. Are you all right? Are you all right? As if she were a worried friend, rather than the cause of my 2 nights of uncontrollable crying in the shower. I choose to disregard it. My mother then called. Some self-destructive part of me picked it up, even though I was on the verge of leaving it on voicemail. Hey, honey, she chirped. What are you looking for? That's not a very polite way to answer the phone, I must say. Yeah, well, right now I don't feel very nice. She let out a sigh. I don't know why you're so upset, Sarah. My mouth actually fell open. Are you serious? It's just a trip, honey. All right. You invited Emily and her children on the trip, but not me or my children, she stated. We didn't mean to hurt your feelings, in a tone that made it obvious she believed I was exaggerating. Coordinating with everyone's schedules is challenging enough. Additionally, Emily has been struggling lately. In fact, I laughed. Are you even able to hear yourself, Mom? Oh my God. The split is a difficult time for Emily. I've been managing a house, 2 children, and a full-time job without receiving any assistance from you, she retorted. You never asked for help. I rubbed my temples and said, Wow, so it doesn't count until I'm pleading with you for help? Don't be dramatic, Sarah. Something snapped within of me. You know what? All right. Take your ideal daughter on your ideal little cruise. I will continue to do what I have done throughout my life, so don't worry about me. Taking care of myself. I hung up before she could finish her sentence. And I didn't feel bad about it for the first time in a long time. The worst part is that it wasn't over yet. Not even close. Because I discovered the full extent of this betrayal a week later. I realized then that they weren't simply ignoring me. I was being erased. I also had no intention of letting them get away with it. I was still mulling over the phone conversation a week later. It was like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Eventually, it would rise back up and slap me in the face. I had been trying my hardest to ignore it and concentrate on my work and the kids. Then it did. Emily shared photos from the cruise when Liam and Ava and I were at the park. She had tagged me in one of the pictures, so it appeared even though I wasn't attempting to check her social media accounts. I was tagged. Is a picture from a trip to which I was not invited. Emily, Mom, Dad, and my brother Jacob were all in the group photo, wearing matching cruise t-shirts and clutching those silly souvenir mugs in the shape of coconuts. Emily's two children were the center of attention. Everyone was grinning as if they were having a great time. My children ought to have been present. I ought to have been present. With my heart hammering terribly in my chest, I clicked on the post. The caption said, "The most amazing family getaway ever. The most amazing family getaway ever. Whoa. All right." Liam came running toward me with his juice box in hand. "Mom, shall we remain a bit longer?" I forced a smile and swallowed the lump in my throat. "Obviously, my love," but I was trembling inside. I sat on the couch and gazed at the photo for a while after we returned home. I then looked on the comments, because it seems that I have a death wish. "Mom, I'm so glad the whole family could be together. Jacob, the most amazing journey ever. Thank you, Dad and Mom. Emily, without you guys, I couldn't have succeeded." Then, the person who broke me. Unknown family friend, Sarah's whereabouts? Mom's reaction? "Mom, she was unable to attend. She was unable to attend." They gave the impression that I had rejected them, not that we didn't invite her or she wasn't included. As if I had chosen to remain at home while everyone else set sail toward the sunset. My hands shaking, I gazed at the screen. Tears of anger obscured my vision. Matt entered and took a seat beside me. "What's the matter?" I gave my phone to him. His expression darkened as he read the comments. "Are you serious?" I trembled as I said, "They're rewriting the entire thing. It's not enough that they excluded me. They're now implying that I made the decision." Matt's jaw tightened. "This is really, really screwed up. This is unbelievable," I muttered. "No, I can actually believe that. The worst part is that." Matt wrapped his arm around me, but it made no difference. "When it comes to my family, I've always felt as though I was outside looking in, standing in the rain while they were all inside, content and cozy. However, they were now deceiving me about it." My phone buzzed at one point, but I'm not sure how long I sat there. Emily had sent the text. "Emily, hello! I hope all is well with you. Mom said you seemed sad over the cruise, so I wanted to let you know. I sincerely hope you're not angry." It wasn't intimate! In fact, I burst out laughing. "Not intimate. I choose to disregard it." Then, because the universe was obviously attempting to test me, my mother called. I picked it up against my better judgment. "Hey? Hey, Sarah." Mom sounded upbeat. "How are you, my love?" "I'm not sure, Mom," I responded calmly. "Why don't you express my feelings to me?" She let out a sigh as if I were the issue. "Please don't be like this, Sarah." "Like what?" "I'm upset." "It's not a huge concern. Not a huge deal." I raised my voice. "You told a falsehood." "I couldn't make it," you told folks. "Well, you didn't make it, technically, because I wasn't invited." "Sincerely, Sarah, you're exaggerating this situation." I put my palm to my forehead and exclaimed, "Oh my God, can you hear yourself at all? You made it appear like I was to blame for my kids and my exclusion from a family vacation, and now I'm the one going overboard? We didn't think you'd want to come, sweetie." "What makes you believe that?" "Well, you're so busy all the time. Are you busy?" I repeated, unable to believe it. "Yes, I have a lot going on. I can't afford to sit around waiting for someone else to take care of me. So I'm working full-time and raising your grandchildren." "You're just being cruel now," Mom remarked sternly. "Mean?" I chuckled sourly. "This isn't cruel. I'm finally waking up now." A long pause ensued. "Look, Sarah," Mom continued after that, "we simply didn't think it would be a big deal. Given how difficult things have been for Emily, we wanted to do something kind for her, hard for her." I interrupted her. "What about Emily's life is so difficult? You purchased her a house, and she lives there for free. She is not employed. She has no children. However, let's concentrate on Emily's struggles." "Sarah," my voice was trembling as I said, "No, I'm done. I'm completely finished with this. You've made it apparent who is important to you, and who is not. You no longer need to act as though I'm a member of this family. So don't worry." "You don't mean that, Sarah." Yes, I do. Before she could answer, I hung up. Then Matt watched me with wide eyes as I sat there, gasping for air. Are you all right? He inquired quietly. I gave a headshake. No, but I believe I can now see things clearly for the first time. For a long time, I believed that my parents would love me just as much as they love Emily if I just put in enough effort and showed myself. That they would eventually see me if I sacrificed enough and proved myself worthy. However, they would never, since they were unwilling to. And I realized that now I had given up trying. I didn't get any sleep that evening. With Matt's protective arm around me, I just laid there and stared at the ceiling as my mind raced. I kept playing again what I had said to my mother. Her voice sounded contemptuous. Her behavior implied that I was being unreasonable for wanting to be considered a member of the family. I gave up attempting to sleep at around 3 in the morning and got out of bed. I went into the kitchen, got a glass of water, and stood there while listening to the refrigerator hum. I had a constricted chest. My mind was racing. On the counter, my phone buzzed. Emily had texted me again. Emily, really, I didn't mean to annoy you. You were overreacting, according to Mom. All right, let's speak. Going overboard. I felt as though the term was now pursuing me. My phone produced a harsh clacking sound when I threw it onto the counter. I then picked up a chair, took a seat, and placed my head in my hands. I wasn't going overboard, was I? In order to give me some alone time, Matt took the kids out to breakfast the following morning. In my pajamas, I sat on the couch and aimlessly browsed through my phone in search of something to divert my attention. That's when I noticed it. Emily had posted again. It was a photo of her sitting next to my mother on the cruise ship. They each had similar cocktails in their hands and were grinning broadly as if nothing were wrong. Emily, time for mother-daughter. In fact, I laughed. A hollow, resentful laugh. I then clicked down to the comments since, evidently, I hadn't endured enough suffering. Family friend, how cute you two are. It's very lovely to witness such a strong bond between mother and daughter. Emily, she is the world's greatest mother. My knuckles went white from holding my phone so tightly. The world's greatest mother. Perhaps for Emily, not for me, though. I felt as though a switch had been flipped inside of me. All of the melancholy, despair, and silent hurt I had been repressing my entire life turned into something more abrasive, something colder. I had had enough of being depressed. I was upset now. Emily, Mom, and Jacob were all in the group chat when I opened it. The next few texts caught my attention. They were all about the trip, how much fun they had had, and how it was a shame Sarah couldn't come. Don't swallow it any longer. No more complying. My fingers darted across the keyboard as I typed out a message. Me, hello, I was just curious as to when you intended to extend the invitation to join you on this wonderful family vacation. Or were you simply going to continue acting as though I couldn't make it? Emily's response time was less than a minute. Emily, really, Sarah? This is nothing new to us. Me, well, we haven't really. You intentionally left me and my children out. Take ownership of it. Then Mom said something. Mom, we weren't expecting you to come, sweetie. Me, that's bullshit. A moment of shock. Next. Emily. Whoa, relax. With my heart pounding, I reclined. Yes, they were not allowed to use the crazy card at this time. Me, I won't stop being angry. My entire life, you have been treating me like an afterthought while you go above and above for Emily. And truthfully, I'm over it. It buzzed on my phone. Mom called. I choose to disregard it. At last, Jacob added. Jacob, Sarah, perhaps this isn't the appropriate time to discuss this. Me. So, Jacob, where's the location? When should I bring up the fact that I am treated as a backup by my entire family? Another long silence. Next, Emily. Look, perhaps we should all take a moment to ourselves if you're going to make such a big deal out of this. A tiny bit of room. Whoa. With my heart thumping so painfully, I threw my phone onto the couch and sat there. After an hour or so, Matt returned with the children. Liam rushed to me and embraced me, saying, Mommy, pancakes were served. I buried my face in his hair and gave him a strong hug. That's fantastic, sweetie. Matt took a seat beside me and said, So, how are you feeling? I let out a sigh. as if I had just struck a match and let it fall on a gas leak. He gave a small smile. All right. Time is of the essence. My mother gave me another call that night. I picked it up against my better judgment. Mom's voice was clipped as she said, Sarah, we must speak. Oh, do we? Your actions earlier were not acceptable. My actions? I chuckled. I apologize. Am I the only one who didn't invite my own daughter to go on a family vacation? Mom reiterated. We didn't think you'd want to come. Because? Mom let out a sigh. You usually look so overwhelmed, Sarah. We didn't want your plate to become even more stressed. How considerate of you, I remarked icily. Sincerely, Sarah, you're exaggerating this situation. Stop stating that! My voice broke. Stop acting as like I'm the issue here. Well, you're definitely not acting very responsibly about this. Oh my God, I said, wiping my eyes. You know what? I'm finished. We have nothing further to discuss if you are incapable of admitting that you have harmed me. Mom said sternly. I'm your mom. No, I muttered. Emily's mother is you. I just happened to be here. Sarah, goodbye, Mom. I ended the call. Matt stood at the doorway, observing me. How did it go? With a shaky voice, I said, I think I just ended my relationship with my mom. Matt approached and drew me into his embrace. You have my admiration. My eyes were burning with tears. I shut them and inhaled him. It was painful. It stung, my God. However, I was no longer attempting to win their love for the first time in my life. At last, I was prioritizing myself. 6 months have passed since that phone call. It's been 6 months since I gave up trying to fit in somewhere that was never truly mine in the first place. I was constantly anticipating my mom to call throughout the first few weeks, to express regret, to say anything at all that would give me the impression that she truly cared about me. However, the quiet continued. I chose to ignore Emily's few indifferent texts, which were of the just checking in variety. Jacob made no effort at all. I felt as though I had been formally removed from the family script. And truthfully, I don't want to admit how much that hurt. However, I didn't get in touch. Not now. Sincerely, I didn't want things to return to as they were. The persistent sense of inferiority, the anticipation, the hope, the unavoidable letdown. I had finished it all. Through it all, Matt and the children were fantastic. Matt in particular. He was always there for me when I wanted to talk, but he didn't force me to. He would take a seat beside me on the couch and hold my hand as I came to terms with the fact that my own family had essentially determined I was worthless. About a month after the fallout, Matt and I were enjoying a bottle of wine on the back porch. One evening after the kids had gone to bed, after taking a sip of his wine, Matt asked, So, are you all right? I chuckled quietly. What does okay mean? His eyes were stern, but he grinned. Are you missing them? I considered it. About how I was always sat at the far end of the table during family dinners. Emily gave larger, more considerate gifts on those birthdays. The holidays, when Mom and Emily were always cooking, and I was left to keep the kids entertained. I remarked, I don't miss how they made me feel. My hand was squeezed by Matt. At least that's something. Emily and Mom went on another trip last month, according to rumors I heard, largely from Jacob's wife, whom I admire, a luxury tour of Europe. They invited Jacob and his family. They were, of course, me and my children? Not at all. Yes, it hurt. However, I didn't think about it as often as I used to. The problem is that I've begun creating my own customs, my own household. Last year was the first Thanksgiving that we had in our place. The children made hand-drawn place cards to adorn the table, while Matt assisted me in the kitchen. Liam used a crayon to write Mom is the best on mine. For at least 10 minutes after I saw it, I sobbed in the kitchen. We watched every corny Christmas movie we could find, drank hot chocolate, and spent the entire day in our pajamas on Christmas morning. Not a drama, no insulting remarks, only us, and it was flawless. In fact, Emily gave me a call a few weeks ago. Voicemail was left. Sarah, hello. I was just curious how you were doing. When you get a moment, give me a call. I spent a lot of time staring at the phone. I subsequently erased the message. No rage, no resentment, just finished. Mom didn't call. I never texted. I suppose she reasoned that I wasn't worth the effort if I wasn't going to continue being the backup daughter. And, truthfully, she is to blame for that. I used to believe that people would ultimately view me the same way they saw Emily. If I simply put in enough effort, was patient enough, and was good enough, that one day I would be seated at the table. However, I've learned better. I've also had enough of sitting at tables where I'm not welcome. Matt and I brought the kids to the beach last weekend. Matt and I reclined on the sand and listened to the waves as the children constructed sandcastles. Liam once raced up with a seashell in his hand and was all wet. Look, Mommy. He proudly held it up. I accepted it from him with a smile. It had tiny ridges around the edges and was small and white. Excellent. It's stunning, I remarked. With a smile, Liam dashed back into the ocean. Matt moved next to me and put his hand on my leg. Are you all right? As I held the shell in my palm, I could feel the sun's warmth on my face and hear my children laughing nearby. Yes, I said. And I meant it this time, because I wasn't pursuing love for the first time in my life. I had it already.